Well, hello, my beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your singles love reading for mid-August right through to mid-September 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, of course, I will be using the Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. Also, I thought it would be really beneficial during this time where I use the Gaia chimes if you just take a breath, a pause, to really connect to a vibration of what you desire in a relationship. Draw the sort of person you want into your sphere. Think about the traits that you want in a relationship, the sort of love that you deserve and desire. And of course, if you have a certain type or visualize the sort of person you want to be with, this would be a very beneficial time, as you know, this is all about vibration during this period in your reading. So I thought it might be something that could help in some way. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Scorpio, this is your singles love reading. Now, I don't know if you noticed with the Gaia chimes, there was a real consistent note there. So I feel a lot of you are doing one thing over and over and over, almost like a repetitive cycle. And of course, that can put your life a little bit out of balance. So I feel some of you are making some adjustments at this time or going through a major transition there. Also, I feel a lot of you have met a person who's attracted to you, but they are a different vibration than you. You've met yourself on quite a deep level. So you need someone who is strong enough to walk by your side, but also who's done a lot of work on themselves, someone who has depth, okay? Because it kept feeling like there was lots of wonderful notes about you, but there is this consistent deep note. So I feel like you have a lot of depth to you, and you require someone who is not afraid of those deep conversations, someone who is willing to be open and intimate, of course. I mean, that's true of all relationships, but I really feel like you've met people who perhaps, you know, could not match your vibration. Okay, so let's get to your cards and see what's going on there for you at this moment in time. Thank you so much. Yeah, look at that. We've got this star energy. So this is about you kind of like allowing yourself to be seen. A lot of you are doing healing work at this time. I'm seeing shattered glass in the water. Okay, shattered glass. So some of you may have felt like at some point in your life, your heart was shattered into tiny pieces and you've been putting little bits of yourself back together. I feel because it's glass, you're someone who is open, honest, true blue. What you see is what you get. Okay, and I feel like there is this energy of delicacy in love because you care so much. You're willing to go to those depths. This is a period of you deeply reflecting on who you are, what you want in a relationship, of course. And of course, I also get this energy, especially since the Empress has shown up there, that this is about loving yourself deeply, because there may have been a wound there, because a lot of you are looking at the shadow self, losses in love, you know, deep emotions. You're very sensitive, and you need someone who is careful with your heart. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're not delicate, as it were, but I feel like, you know, you're someone who is a very sensitive person, and you require someone who can give you that depth in a relationship, okay? This is your protagonist energy, the star energy, which is all about hope. So even though you may feel that at times there's like no hope, because I feel with the moon card, it kind of cancels it out. I feel you've met a lot of people who drain your energy. You're exhausted. You're kind of fed up, really, with the whole dating scene. You may feel that you are not meeting people who have that depth, or you're meeting people who are inconsistent, in and out of your life, wishy-washy. And I feel like you're out there shining your light. Some of you may feel like you've tried everything when it comes to dating, that you've been out there allowing yourself to be seen, and yet there's nothing. Okay, so I will tap into the Celtic cross just to see who's coming your way. But this is you right now, being creative, focusing on your sense of purpose, a lot of your healing, okay, because I saw that image of the broken glass, and I'm also hearing a song. Very famous song. I won't go into the details of the song because all I'm being given right now is the chorus. Very famous. Bon Jovi, Shot Through the Heart, You're to Blame. Okay, you give love a bad name. So either some of you are healing from a previous experience, and it's still in your energetics field because we have like a sadness there with that moon, a lament. Okay, so this is something that you're trying to override, as it were. You've really looked at it. But I feel that you are on a trajectory to meet a relationship that invests, a healthy relationship, okay? Not someone who tries to dull your shine because they're not strong enough to walk by your side, or certainly not someone who does not support you in some shape or form. I feel like you're someone who gets a lot of attention. If you think about the celestial bodies, of course, everybody wants to look at the moon as well, but, you know, the stars are rare. So you're someone who is very rare, okay? And you require consistency in relationships, of course. And this can indicate that you're not going to settle in relationships. But because you are rare, where you are attractive, of course, because you have the Empress energy, this normally means that, you know, physically you are attractive, you get a lot of attention. There's magnetism there as well. But also you offer unconditional love. You have a beautiful heart. There's a lot of depth to you. It can mean that you offer everything that there is in a relationship. So therefore, you may get a lot of attention. But when you fall in love, it's for keeps. But the person who ends up with you, you may have had experiences of people, you know, feeling a little bit insecure because there's an insecurity energy about the moon. It triggers fears. It's like you're shining your light there triggers fears in others, and that normally means that they are having doubts about themselves or they're not loving themselves fully, but that's about them. That's not on you. So I feel a lot of you are seeking, you know, someone who has that strength, someone who is confident within themselves to match your energy. Confidence, of course, is an aphrodisiac. But as you can see, this is about matching soul song, and I felt there was something just a little bit out of kilter with the guide chimes there for you. So some of you may feel like you're out of sync with something, you're trying to come back into balance. But I mean, the card actually says inspiration, and this is your protagonist energy. So you may be inspired right now after a long absence from the dating scene, because I feel a lot of you have been operating, you know, off grid or under the radar, as it were, because the moon, it deals with shadows. Okay, so it can be that not only are you healing, but you may be peeking out occasionally to see if there's anybody out there on the dating scene, and you're like, nope. So you're going back in. If you think about, you know, the ebb and flow of the sea, it can be that sometimes you're like really inspired to get out there, and then you are kind of like dissatisfied, or you're feeling there's no one who has that spark, no one who has that chemistry. So therefore you just feel like, well, I'll just go back into the shadows and just focus on my own glow up, my own beauty rituals, routines, or my own purpose, you know. So that star energy, I feel like you are nurturing yourself in a different way. But also, I feel this is a period where you are coming to life. It's almost like if you've been laying dormant, I feel now is a time where you are wanting to get out there a little bit more, maybe be a little bit more sociable, but you have been on a major healing journey. But also the star is about getting clarity. This is a new phase of life where you're being really super like precise about what it is that you want. You're being decisive. And anything that does not match your wishes in a relationship, because I feel like you have a tick list of things that are deal breakers. Let's put it that way. Okay. No one's perfect. We can't tick all the things off our lists when it comes to relationships. But, you know, the moon energy can indicate that you're making yourself scarce until you find the person that really aligns with you. So I feel like you may be going out there and doing creative things or getting inspired to do things that bring you joy. This is a card of, I would say, for you, like renewing your hope in love, trying to have faith, even though your previous experiences perhaps left you feeling lost or bereft. This is a card of feeling a little bit lost, okay? But also, I feel like there's this energy of like, you know what? Let's not bother looking. It's just the same old thing, just a different day. So I feel you are fed up of people just looking at you for the physical is what I'm seeing as well. You want depth. You want emotion. You want intensity. You want the, you know, how can I put that? It's like you want someone who's true to themselves. You want someone who is independent, but also loyal. Someone who you can see spending your life with. You're not wasting your time. So I feel, you know, it's important to recognize there's normally a dog and a wolf on this card. So there is a lament there. The dog represents loyalty, settling down, companionship. And this is something that maybe you yearn for from time to time. But the wolf is also independent, you know. So some of you may be thinking about going off and doing something by yourself to join some sort of group activity, perhaps. But also this is a desire to have it all. I would say, meet a person who's got their own life together, who is, you know, out there doing their thing, but at the same time, you know, there's loyalty. You can trust this person. Some of you, because the moon is there, this is all about fear. So it can be that you're trying to release some fears in and around relationships. You know, perhaps you've been hurt in the past, because I've picked up on that energy. Some of you may have been betrayed in the past. Let's get to the Celtic cross to see that a little bit deeper, but there is like a fear. Okay, and for some of you, not all of you, there is this energy, and this is a very deep one, so again, it may not resonate with all of you, but you may have picked up emotions from a matriarchal type figure or your mom, for example, where there were insecurities. Okay, now, of course, energy is passed on generation to generation, so a lot of you are breaking generational kind of cycles at this time, which is very hard. You're trying to remove a lot. This is a very cathartic energy. It means, you know, you are letting go of some emotions. It also indicates, of course, that there may have been deception that a parent or guardian type figure experienced, and those heightened emotions were absorbed by you as a child, that sponge energy where we pick up our environment. But that's their narrative. It doesn't have to be yours. So I feel like you're breaking a cycle there. And that's not going to resonate with everyone, of course, but I had to acknowledge it. But I also feel that with these two cards, because this is clarity and this is fantasy, so I feel like you're being really honest with yourself about love and, you know, what we fall in love with, you know, really falling in love with a person and not the idea of the person. Some of you may have met people who were in love with the idea of love, for example, and you are someone who's honest and true blue, and you're like, well, this is who I am. And, you know, you're not just someone's fantasy, you're a person who deserves love. So it could be that you've met people who, you know, they're drawn to your mystery, you know, that Scorpio thing, because every time someone says they're a Scorpio, there's that connotation like, ooh, you know, mystery. And of course you are mysterious because there's a lot of depth to you, because there's a grounding to you, because you've done a lot of spiritual work and you know yourself on a deeper level. But also people can mistake that as, you know, you being like all shades of kinky, for example, and they're just in it for that. And you're not about that. You want more than that. You're looking for something more. Okay, we have that Empress energy. This is your overarching energy. The Empress, of course, is all about settling down, building a home, nurturing an environment or landscape where something can grow. So I feel this is about you wanting a relationship that you can tend to, that you can grow with a partner so that you can, you know, take the journey of life and love together. This is a card where you want a healthy relationship, where you can feel safe to be yourself. But also, you know, this is an energy of kind of like unconditional love. You know, of course, there's always going to be ups and downs in relationships. There's going to be hopes and fears. There's going to be moments where people feel the balance shift in a relationship. Insecurities may come to the surface. We're all human. We all have moments triggered by certain things. But the consistency of unconditional love is something that is unwavering. And you're looking for that in a relationship. And you may feel, although you are hopeful, because a star is like you're wishing for something, you're hopeful, you know deep down to the core of your soul, it's out there. You can feel it. It's calling to you. You know, the echoes of love is out there and it's reverberating and it feels like it's coming back to you. So if you've had a previous experience that let you down or, you know, broke your heart, I feel true love is kind of like ebbing ever closer to you because this card is unconditional love. So I feel that there is an energy of you just being your wonderful self, offering unconditional love, but also being love. The more things that you do in life that you love, you attract that vibration of love and the right person, okay? So I would say that you're attracting someone, you're magnetic at this time. But let's get to the Celtic cross to see a little bit more detail as to what's going on there. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Grand Angels. Can you please guide how would you like to receive? We got the Ace of Swords. So that is you getting clear. We've got the Knight of Cups as your crossing card. You haven't found the love that you truly deserve and desire at this time, but that will shift. I feel that perhaps you've met people who were unrealistic in their expectations, who saw how powerful and magnetic you were and are still, but in the relationship itself, I feel that they tried to knock your confidence or they always feared that they would lose you. But it's interesting because it feels like it triggered, almost projected energy into the relationship where you started to fear loss as well. If you ever felt like a very intense feeling of like, you know, suddenly feeling insecure that you could lose a partner, I feel there is like a mirrored kind of vibration going on between you and a person in the past where you were so precious to each other. You cared so much, but the fear of loss got in the way of the relationship and it sabotaged it in different ways, from different angles. Okay, so I feel that's something that perhaps you've been healing from. So for example, you know, Scorpio, if you are someone who fears that the relationship is breaking down or you're losing a connection with a person, you tend to, and this may not always be the case, but you tend to try a little bit harder, or you try to resolve things, or you try to hold on really tight. But you may have met people who, if they felt insecure because you're out there shining your light and you're magnetic and people are attracted to you, they may fear that they lose you. So the best way they thought that they could, you know, make sure you stuck around was to trigger your jealousy or to step away, distance themselves, because the moon is ebb and flow. It means like coming on in strong, emotionally connected, but then withdrawing because they're fearful. At the same time, that builds a hunger in you to really try and hold on to the relationship. So that was ego-based. So you may have met someone like that in the past. Now, of course, not all of you will have met someone like that. So I want you to be clear that I'm picking up a very specific energy right now. But if you are someone who has never been in a relationship and you have been very independent, I feel like you've had a sense of purpose. You've had a life mission that you've been called to do. And sometimes we are put on pause on purpose regarding love, shall we say, in order to have intense focus on a mission. And that, of course, is not going to help you, my beautiful Scorpio. You may be like, oh, okay, so when does that pause start to move forward and, you know, become unpaused? I feel, looking at the energy, it's quite close, actually. But I would say that when you feel within yourself that it's time, because there's going to be moments where there's a bit of a gear shift. And I feel right now you're in the middle of the gear shift, where you're suddenly becoming a little bit more actively thoughtful of love. It's no longer whispering to you from the sidelines. It's now like, let's actively put myself in position to be in situations to open up to new places, new faces. So I feel like your time is now, as it were. But I feel before it was like you getting on course with something, if that makes sense. But let's get to your cards. I feel a lot of you have been healing some very deep issues. okay, on different degrees, of course, because everyone's different, everyone's path is different that I'm picking up on. But a lot of you have been on this major healing journey, and one of the biggest tasks is to break a generational cycle. But the Ace of Swords there is your starting position. So that is a new start. That is an energy of saying, right, let's get clear. Let's be honest with myself. I need to take accountability. I need to put myself in a position to change. Cut out the past. Cut out things that do not serve a purpose or do not fulfill me in any shape or form. And as you can see, the Ace of Swords, this figure has been sitting in a hammock. So I feel like, there's this energy of you took a break from the dating scene, or you withdrew from the dating scene, and I feel like there is a very strong energy, like deep down you're destined to meet a person, so you're leaving it up to destiny. What will be will be. I feel like you've become so strong in your energy. We got that Nine of Wands. It tells me that I'm dealing right now with an energy of a wounded warrior. You've been through some stuff, okay? So I feel, to some degree, love paints a very chaotic, emotional scenario for you because you may have had some scars from previous experiences. So you haven't given up on love because the Nine of Wands tells me that you're still pursuing it, but that Ace of Swords tells me that you've been getting comfortable, getting to know yourself, maybe even just comfortable with the lifestyle that you have, that you are very independent, and you're kind of trying to see how you can create space in your life for love. This is a foundational card, and there's a tear right there. So I feel like, you're shedding some emotions from past experiences. And the Knight of Cups, this tells me that a lot of you have loved and lost in the past, okay? You may have been with someone that you thought you would be with forever there, but you separated from this person, or I just get this energy that this person, it's like the romance. It was all about the romance, but when it came to being really intimate or kind of like thinking about long-term plans, I feel something went down there because we have the moon, which can be about deception. It can be there was a trust issue, either from you or them, that kind of like put something on pause. But I'm going to remove myself from the energy because this is more about what you're going through right now. And the crossing energy basically means the reverse and the upright is red. So right now, there's no love. The love you have at this minute with the Empress energy is unconditional love for self. So you're creating that foundation, but you're ready for a new start, is what I'm seeing here. And you are going to attract love into your life because the Knight of Cups indicates that there is going to be a feeling of attraction between you and a person. It's going to be very intimate. You may actually be invited to something. And I feel there's an energy of chemistry with this person straight away. It feels like a very magical event. I mean, for some of you, there may literally be a magician at this event. That's such a random thing to come through, but my guides are pointing me right to the magician, and I'm being given in the present. Magician in the present. So this could be manifesting in the present, but my guides are saying magician in the present. So this could be that you're actually going to attend an event that actually has hired a magician, for example. So please take it as it resonates. It's not going to resonate with everyone, of course, but I feel the love that you deserve and desire, you haven't found a person who really understands you or understands your love language. They may be thrilled by it, enamored by it, magnetized by it, but they haven't been able to see past it to really get to the core of you. Okay, so I feel there's an energy of getting to meet a person who really breaks down those walls, who wants to try, who wants to really get to the core of you, just because we have that tower there. The tower is to kind of like, see where we're at, to break down a structure that has kept us stuck for a long time. So some of you may be getting closure at this time, but ultimately the tower is to break free. Break free from a cycle of repeat. Break free from meeting the same sort of people all the time. Building something together in your future that can be long lasting, because I feel like you've met experiences where either you didn't feel safe in love or you felt it could like break down at a moment's notice. Some of you may have even had a shock in previous relationships and you're just trying to recalibrate and get back to like who you are at the very core of you. But the Nine of Wands is your earthly plane position, so I feel it's tough right now. Now, it doesn't have to be that you're dealing with the aftermath of a previous relationship. It can be that life is a lot of stress right now. You've got a lot going on. I feel like, it's interesting because the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Nine of Wands, the figure literally has a bandage on their head, okay? And when I went to start your reading, before I even started, I do like a 10-minute meditation, and I was really tapping into the energies, and all I got at first was like, love, it's a headache. So some of you may have felt like, oof, you are creating a lifestyle for yourself right now that is grounded and, without drama. And you may feel that it's having to be a really special person to come on in, not to create any drama or upheaval or upset in your world, because you've created an environment for yourself where, you're just doing you. And you kind of like the things that you do for you and your rituals, routines. So I feel a lot of you in this independence, you may feel it's hard to, accept other people's quirks and things into your life, but you are creating that space. Nine of Wands, a lot of you are also very cautious in love because of a previous experience, but also this can be a card of questioning your path, questioning your purpose, questioning why certain things didn't go well for you in relationships, or maybe it can be a lack of confidence in love, or even faith in love, especially if you've been in a relationship, or even if you have not. It can be that you've got so comfortable showing up for yourself that people have not been there for you. You've walked a very powerful path full of strength, but you've learned that the only way, to conduct your life is to depend on you. Okay, so I feel you are that very strong person, and I also feel like you are doing a lot of work in order to create that stability. You're working hard in order to create that space for love to come on in. Two of Swords, this is your past position, stalemate. You may feel like nothing's going on right now. This is a card of protecting your inner peace as well. So it can be that, you have kind of like been in a deep dive emotionally, a lot of soul searching going on, quietening the noise, as it were. But also this is a card of uncertainty. You're not really sure how your love life is going to go, but I feel like you're trying to keep hope in your heart that there is a person there for you. And I feel, looking at the energy, because your crossing card is the Knight of Cups. That which you do not have, you shall have. So I feel, you will have romance come into your life, but the Tower indicates either you're doing something as a repetitive cycle or a routine right now, which means you're keeping, your life running as smoothly as possible. The Tower can indicate you're trying to hold it all together right now, but I feel there is this energy of either a paradigm shift or kind of like, breaking out of a comfort zone in some way. And I feel like you're going to be offered a very interesting opportunity for transformation in your present moment. And I would keep your eyes peeled, okay? It's really interesting because the Two of Swords normally means a person is feeling a bit stuck. Like you've tried everything and you just feel like you've hit a plateau and nothing works right now. Or you meet people who are super guarded. I mean, look at this camel. Camels are resourceful in environments like the desert. So it can be that even when you're thirsty and you want to meet love, you want to meet a person, it's like you're all good by yourself. Okay, you got all the resources you need. You don't need anybody. You're showing up for yourself, and that's just life. That's just the way it is. However, it can also indicate that your inner dialogue is like you'd like to share your life with somebody. You've been searching for a long time. I mean, the Knight of Cups, it's a cup of water. Waters or bodies of water tend to be about energy and, of course, the vision of what you want as your reality, as well as, to drink from, thirst. So it can be that, you have been searching and you have had moments of lament, but at the same time, there is this energy of kind of like considering your options, like, well, there's no need to move forward at this time because there's no one out there. It's a very sparse environment. No one has that spark. But I want you to be aware, the Ace of Wands, it's outside of yourself at this moment in time. This is the position. Circumstances outside of yourself. Ace of Wands is the spark. It is the chemistry. So you're about to meet new. Your intention is the Ace of Swords. You want to talk to somebody new. I mean, for some of you, you may actually be talking to someone new right now, but I would just be a little bit cautious and watch this person's actions, because I feel If you really get to the heart of the matter, this person may also be, someone who's healing or has been wounded in the past. So it requires a lot of patience. I would also say just be mindful that they haven't just come out of something and it's a rebound. You're not here to fix someone. You are here to be loved, of course. You offer so much unconditional love and support to people, and you're a caring being, and that's what's wonderful about you. But do remember that, you're not just here to kind of like help someone be their best self so they can flee the nest and fly off to someone else. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that. Actions always speak louder than words, and if someone's just come out of something, it's always important to give them the breath that they need in order to, lay the ghosts of their past to bed so that they can be free to love you from a clear slate and a foundation where, past hurts are not going to bleed into your relationship, and vice versa. Always important. Now, this is your potential position. Page of Pentacles indicates someone making an effort, which is great, but also it means someone who is dependable, someone who's loyal. Now, I'm going to pull a card on this because we have a Knight of Pentacles and a Page of Pentacles. So because I'm getting friend vibes from that Page of Pentacles, I just want to pull a quick card there because there is an energy of friendship turning to a confession, someone blurting out that they have feelings for you. So let me just pull a quick card on that Page of Pentacles. We have the Page of Pentacles again. When my guides give me a card, they're like, I gave you that card for a reason. Okay, Page of Pentacles, someone who's a little bit younger than you. Ten of Swords. This could also indicate someone who's just come out of a relationship. Or, this could also be someone that you friend-zoned. Ten of Swords, it's like crossing a line. So I feel like you would not be interested in this person. It just feels like you don't want to destroy a friendship or a relationship with this person. I feel more than anything, the Knight of Pentacles is someone you're more interested in. It's a slow-moving process, but I will pull a card on this because ultimately this reading is for the next 6 weeks. So I feel if you are talking to someone new, just be a little bit mindful what they say about the end of a previous relationship. If they tend to be like super negative over a person, okay, and I got to be careful what I say here because, of course, if anyone breaks a person's heart, there's anger, there's sadness, there's devastation, there's all of this stuff. But this is like a little red flag to say they're not quite over that yet, or they feel very defensive, and that means that it's going to be harder to open their heart to you. Okay, so I just feel that Ten of Swords, there is an energy here of like needing to be mindful that someone had a very painful ending and maybe it's fresh, okay? Just because the Page of Pentacles can indicate someone who's new on the dating scene after a period of being in a relationship and it hurt. The breakup really like destroy them, okay? So it could be that, you just be mindful of that. But I'm getting this energy with the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is someone new coming into your life. Basically, that's what the card means at grassroots. Someone who does make an effort, okay? Someone who is worthy of your love, someone who's caring, who would be careful of your heart. But I would just say maybe just take it slow, okay? Because it is someone who has boundaries, but it means that it could be someone who's just new on the dating scene after a relationship because that Ten of Swords is there. But I was pulling cards on it regarding a friendship. So if you have a friend who has just broken up with a partner, just be mindful. I feel this person's always had a crush on you, and I feel that they may lean into you for advice, for comfort, for love, and suddenly we're crossing lines and suddenly it gets messy. And if you're not kind of wanting something like that, just be a little bit mindful. Let me see how you feel about this person. Thank you so much for Guides, Guardian Angels. The Ten of Swords tells me that, you wouldn't want to cross a line with this person. Queen of Pentacles, this is normally kind of like a very caring, nurturing person that you'd offer them some very good advice. You could help them. The Sun card can indicate, that you help them grow or you help them see something. You're very positive with this person. You help them drive out the old. If it was just a Sun energy, I would say, oh, you and this person, perhaps you could be a thing. But because the Queen of Pentacles is there, I feel like you're very generous with this person, with your time, with your energy. I feel that you feel comfortable with this person. But it's a good friend. I mean, if you look up the meaning of the Queen of Pentacles when it comes to relationships, and it normally underlines good friend at first, okay? Someone who can give really practical advice. So I would say you may hear from a friend who tries to cross a line or reach out to you in some way. Just be mindful. So let's move on from that, because the near future we have the Knight of Pentacles. Now the Knight of Pentacles, of course, is a slow moving knight. It tends to mean that you're going to meet a person who is stable, who's grounded, who's trustworthy, who is looking for a conventional relationship. You know, this person, they work really hard. This is a sort of person who is dedicated, okay, to a relationship. This person is a good listener. They pay attention, they see everything, they're very protective. I mean, there's even like hams a hand there, which means this person is very protective of love. They are someone who would try to win your heart and highlight to you that you could tell them anything. They would never judge, and they would be there. Thick and thin, they're there. So let me just pull a quick card. This could indicate that this person is like an earth sign or has strong earth in their chart. Can you tell me a little bit more of the Knight of Pentacles? Ooh, Ace of Cups. Yeah, this is someone that you will fall in love with. Okay, this is the love that comes in. I mean, it's not too far away because this is your near future energy. So I would say some of you may be attending something or be invited to something, and this is where you have an attraction with someone, okay? Someone who is really kind of like, at first they seem a little bit serious, but you really help them come out of their comfort zone, okay? But Ace of Cups, I mean, do I need to say more? This is the start of romance, a relationship where there's emotional care. It's an opportunity to develop feelings for each other and become a high-level commitment. This is a card that highlights this person is so invested in a relationship and vice versa that there could be a proposal of marriage in the future. You know, it is something for the long term. Both of you can see a life together. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be instant. However, the Tower is there, so it could be a shock. I mean, as soon as you see this person, you could just know. When you know, my beautiful Scorpio, okay? But you're not going to rush in, because the Knight of Pentacles tells me it's going to be a nice organic process. Now, this is your advice to yourself in this moment. The Magician card: manifest, manifest, manifest. Be your magical self. You know, you are creative. You have everything within you to have a magical connection. The Magician card always indicates that you have everything you need, and it's all within you. So this is about as above, so below, which means your thoughts become things. So what are you thinking about when it comes to a relationship? Are you giving yourself time to really visualize what you want? When we want success in a career or money or any of those things, we always visualize what we're doing or what we want and, you know, the success that we want. So why do we sometimes forget about love? So I feel you're being encouraged to fantasize about the sort of person you want to be with, really think about them. And the Magician card indicates that, you know, you are going to meet someone who matches your beliefs, your ideas, and, you know, matches your vibration, because the Magician is all about magic and vibration. It is about putting it out there into the universe, but also it's about creativity. It's about productivity. It's about doing something and taking action. So interesting that there's like an obelisk here. So I feel this is about you aligning and having more confidence in yourself. And then we've got this Ace of Wands, which is also a bit like an obelisk. And then Ace of Wands is sudden. It is kind of like transformative. It is a spark. It's chemistry. It's taking the initiative, but it's also like the vision. Suddenly you meet a person and you're like, oh, I just know. And you can see your future with this person. So I would say a lot of you are meeting a person where there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of good times. There's like an ambiance of people enjoying themselves. So if you're invited to something like that, or even if you've paid to go to something like this, and it could be a friend invited you to it, but you still paid for it. So there's still an invitation energy there. But I just feel a lot of you with this Ace of Wands, this is a desire, okay? And it's a leaning to do something, maybe even out of your comfort zone because the Tower is there. But this is about you bringing your dreams into reality, using inspired action. So I would say you're taking the initiative to do something that perhaps interests you and reignites your passion in some way. And then you meet a person that has that spark. You know, love is coming on in. To get 3 aces, this is a new beginning, perhaps the one that you've been waiting for. Now, the hope and the fear, we got the 10 of Pentacles there. Ten of Pentacles is all about investment and loyalty and valuing love and relationships. You know, someone who's going to stick around, someone who will build a life with you, who either joins your family lineage if you want to get married. This is the marriage card. So you may be hoping to marry someone or settle down or build, you know, your version of what a family unit is, because it's going to be different for everybody. The fear, of course, is investing in someone who leaves, someone who is not invested, someone who coasts, expect you to show up all the time and, you know, bring the relationship to their door. Also, I feel, you know, there's an energy here of, now this is a little bit dicey when I say this, because some of you are going to be like, yep, and some of you are going to be like, no. So you decide what side of the fence you sit on with this one. But I feel it's important that your soul tribe members, whoever they are, whether they're friends or family, a lot of you are hoping that, you know, they fit in nicely, that your people kind of like this new person. And I feel they do. Okay, so that's coming through there. The other half of you are like, I don't care. If I love them, that's all that matters. And that's the most important. You know, I'm probably the Scorpio that's on the other fence, side of the fence, that's like, I don't care. If I'm in love with the person, I'm in love with the person. Nothing is going to stop me from being with the person that I love. So I feel a lot of you actually sit on probably that side of the fence, but some of you may sit on the other side. I mean, it's nice to have, you know, friends and family like a person that you're in love with, but at the same time, they don't have to, because that's their prerogative. But it just makes it easier if they do, if you know what I mean. But I feel with this card, this is an energy here of like feeling secure in a relationship, wanting to settle down, wanting to meet a person who wants the same things as you in a relationship, rather than being consistently misaligned with a person who either is not invested or is inconsistent, wishy-washy, ghosts, or is not emotionally available. And I feel like you've experienced all of those things because of the energy that's come out there. Now we do have a Tower. So this can indicate that, you know, you're taken by surprise when it comes to love. I will pull a card on it. The Tower can also mean that you're coming out of a comfort zone, doing something totally different. You know, it can also indicate that you're looking at love in a different way. There's a sudden kind of spontaneity about you where you want to go and do something. Your guides are whispering to you to come out of that comfort zone or go to an event or just do something. And it could be spontaneous. So you could have like nothing booked for this month, which I'm sure that's not true. Looking at your energy, I feel like you're very busy, but some of you could have nothing booked. And then suddenly a spontaneous event, impromptu, occurs, and you're put into a position where you are out and about and then thrust into the location of where you're about to meet a person. So this could be very sudden, okay? I will pull a card on it. My guides just said, or there could be sensual tension, is what my guide said, because they're connecting it to the Ace of Wands. But let me just pull a card on this Tower. What does this Tower mean when it comes to love? Ten of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. And we've got the Five of Pentacles. Let's go one more. Oof, okay. Seven of Swords. Okay. Now, because there's two energies here, I feel you're letting someone down before you meet the one. That's the energy I'm getting, because Queen of Swords is to have distance or keep someone at arm's length. Ten of Pentacles is a high-level commitment. Okay, and because we have the Five of Pentacles there, that's someone who is lost or has come out of a relationship or is trying to sever a relationship, but they haven't quite come out of it yet. Seven of Swords, you know, Seven of Swords is a quest for independence. So it could be that, I mean, for some of you, there's just this energy, and I already picked up on it in this reading, that either you are currently connected to someone who's just ended something, and it's been very painful, or they're trying to end something for some of you, and there's just a trust issue. Seven of Swords can indicate, you know, a hesitancy. Always trust your instincts. But it feels very much like this is a pattern of something that's occurring. So Ten of Pentacles, wanting a high-level commitment, maybe meeting someone, but feeling a distance or feeling like you need to keep someone at arm's length. Five of Pentacles could be because they went through some loss. Now, you'd be there for them unconditionally, but if you're looking for love, I feel like you're acknowledging that, you know, you don't want to just be someone's emotional crutch. You deserve more than that in a relationship. So I feel with that Seven of Swords, you are remaining independent. So I feel the shock could come from someone that you already know telling you that either they've just broken up from someone and, you know, they're seeking solace, they're seeking compassion, they're seeking, you know, it's almost like they're in hardship, you know, like poor me. And of course, they must be going through something. But I feel like they're trying to blur the lines to mix it in with taking advantage of the situation to be a little bit like hit and run with you, as it were. Okay? Not that they're a player. I just feel like with that Seven of Swords, this is someone who has the potential to kind of like avoid intimacy because they are grieving or they are in loss with something or someone. So just be a little bit mindful, okay? I'm going to pull one more card regarding this Tower. Show me after that. Eight of Cups, you walk away from that. Queen of Cups, you're ready to fall in love. Now, also, for some of you, my beautiful Scorpio, it can be that you're still dealing with, you know, some sort of separation or loss or even a trust issue. And it can be that once you cathartically walk away from that and prioritize your own needs, then you're ready to fall in love. Okay. But I would say the majority of you could meet a person, or you've already like got contact with someone who is closing out a previous experience and they're not ready, and you can feel it. So you're honoring your emotions and keeping them at arm's length. But I feel it's the next person you meet, and they're the one. So Eight of Cups, journey of self-discovery, going in a different direction after, you know, being presented with a person that you feel, okay, this is just not fulfilling. I just feel like you're not fully invested in some way. And then suddenly, Eight of Cups, you're in love. This is a card of attraction. It's emotional understanding. It is to be ready to fall in love. So yeah, I feel that is the process. Will you meet your soulmate? The answer is yes, absolutely. I can see that happening. I would say the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles are indicative of the journey of you meeting a person who somehow has blurred lines or is a little bit messy in their life right now. Don't get me wrong. They are a really nice person. They're worthy of your love when they have done the healing. They're a nice person, but I feel like they're just feeling a little bit bereft, and you are alluring and they just gravitate towards you. But I feel like they just don't have the depth to them to offer you the love that you truly deserve and desire. And then the next person, that's the person. So if you think about it, Page of Pentacles may have just come out of a relationship. They're a really hurt person at this time. And then you've got that Knight of Pentacles. That's love. That's when you're falling in love, okay? I release what that does not serve me. That's your final card there. And I am wild and free. So I feel this is about you rewilding. This is about you enjoying your single life. You know, cathartically letting go of some emotions in order to be ready to fall in love. To create that, you know, rich foundation for true love to come on in and grow. Because if you think about the nature of the tears, this can be that, you know, you're replenishing your foundation, letting go of stuff, lightening your karmic load, and basically, I mean, it's number 19. And that's an energy that is leading to the sun. So I feel, you know, in between there, of course, you've got the Tower, which goes to the star, which goes to the sun. So it means that to let go of something that caused you pain or sadness will actually create a space for joy to come in. The sun is all about joy, happiness, and, you know, longevity. I would celebrate the wonderful you. I would get out there and just do wild and wonderful things and be flamboyant and just, you know, allow yourself to be seen, because you will be. So I'm quite excited about this for you, my beautiful Scorpio. Always trust. Ooh, I don't know if you just saw what just happened, but I've picked up some trinkets in my hand, and 2 trinkets just fell out of their own accord. Of course, there's a lot going on in there, but I don't believe in accidents there. Everything happens for a reason. Interesting. There's a lighthouse and a heart. And in my hand, I have a lantern, which is always a hermit energy there. So 2 lights. Okay, so this is about shining a light, allowing yourself to be seen, being inspired, okay, but also searching. If you think about the hermit, they're holding the lantern, they're searching, they're shining a light. Anyone out there? No, just going to stay inside my cave, not going to go out today. But also, because we have the lighthouse is there to provide comfort to sailors who are, you know, sailing a little bit closer to the bank than they should be. It's like a protective energy. Have you been someone's lighthouse in their storm? Have you been there offering healing and fixing to a person who is not investing in a relationship with you? They are enjoying the comfort that you provide. Who's been draining your energy? So I feel a lot of you are looking at that in your life right now, but also I feel like you have been repairing. I mean, you have a beautiful heart. This means you will fall in love again and it will be a passionate relationship. Now, the spider can represent once bitten, twice shy. Maybe you've had toxic relationships, but also I love the spider because the spider represents good luck. Okay, in spirituality, the spider is the architect of their own dreams. They create their own web. Okay, so this is about you being you unapologetically and you capturing the love of your life. The person you sort of dream of, you're going to manifest this person to life. So I would say manifestation is going to be the key to you drawing love on in there. And I feel like you are going to be luckier in love. But you're purifying right now, cathartically letting go of some stuff in order to allow the right person to come on in and love you in the way that you truly deserve. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Scorpio. Also, I thought it was worth noting that when we document what sort of person we want in a relationship, the traits, what they look like, that's basically signaling to the universe that you're serious about it. You're committing it to paper or to the internet or to the comments box below, for example. You're writing it down saying, this is what I want. That's cosmic ordering. So really think about what you want and ask it to the universe, but be really precise and write it down. Commit it to some sort of page or commit it in writing, because that signals to the universe you're ready. You're calling it in and it's there. It's written. It's already written. You're just now ready to receive it. So I'll leave it like that. Thank you so much, my beautiful Scorpio, and love and light.